Again, music fans, I'm here to do another quick video, this time to showcase a part of my collection regarding my 10 favorite hard rock bands. And yes, I do make the distinction about them between hard rock and heavy metal. You know, hard rock is where it has more of a hard rock and roll sound, whereas with metal has it more mechanical sound. Well, you know what I mean. It has more influences from even classical music, but we'll get into that when I do my 10 favorite heavy metal bands, which I'm doing. I'm having a bit of a hard time whittling it down to 10, but with hard rock, I think I am satisfied with this list. Before I get onto it, there's a couple of omissions that I want to explain. The first one would be Van Halen, which I do love Van Halen, but I have very few of their albums. I only have some compilations and a couple of live albums. All right, so I was never too much into their whole catalog. So I know the hits, but not so much of the deep cuts that come from the albums. The other omission, even though you might not consider this a hard rock band, would be Queen, and by this I mean early Queen. Because early Queen, they sure rocked hard. They did kind of lose the plot in their latter day albums, but in the beginning, they were definitely a hard rock band. But let's start with my own list, okay? The first two, and I am going to rank them from number 10 to number 1. The first two are going to be obvious inclusions, even though you might be surprised that they are so low down on the list. And that's because even though I do love a part of their catalog, for other parts, I really don't care for. So let's start with the first one. That would be Led Zeppelin, okay? Of course you have to have Led Zeppelin in this list because they are the precursors. They laid the groundwork for it, along with other bands like The Who, for hard rock genre. This is, of course, their most famous album, Led Zeppelin 4, here, which is my own favorite album. I'm going to showcase also some vinyl here. I also have their double album, Physical Graffiti. I think this is the front cover. Yes, here. This is a reissue. It has the Windows thing, going on. Everybody knows these albums. Zeppelin. But like I said, when it comes to Zeppelin, their latter day catalog, I really don't care for. Songs like Hot Dog, Caruso Lambra, that kind of stuff. I think they kind of lost the plot. The other one would be, on number 9, would be Deep Purple. Of course, you have to have that band on the list. I'm going to showcase this album, vinyl for Burn, here with David Coverdale on vocals. Of course, I do love Ian Gillan also. And this is another band, just like Zeppelin. There's a lot of their catalog that I love. Most of it, But a lot of it, with that they have some boogie woogie influences and stuff like that, that I do not care for at all. So that's why they're low on the list. I'm going to showcase another album, this one, live in Stuttgart, Germany. This is with their original Mark II lineup with Ritchie Blackmore in the band when he came back in the band after being away from them for all the Rainbow years, okay? But this live album, this 2 CD set, absolutely rocks from start to finish. Great set list, great performance by Blackmore and everybody else. Highly recommend this one. Deep Purple has a ton of live albums, all of them, very good, but this one I really, really enjoy. Let's go now to a number 8, which would be my first solo artist on this list. It would be Alice Cooper. Okay, so with Alice, I don't have his early catalog, but I am very familiar with it. I'm going to showcase here 2 albums by him, which would be Hey Stupid. This one has a ton of guest stars in there, even Ozzy Osbourne. Okay, plus a whole bunch of others. Okay, Great catchy songs, humorous lyrics, a la Alice Cooper. Cool stuff. And one that is kind of, some of his later 90s stuff and 2000 stuff kind of overlooked, but it's very, very good, including this one, Dragon Town. This one is really, really cool. I really enjoy listening to this one. Very much of a harder edge than Hey Stupid, right there. Now for my number 7, that would be very obvious choice here, AC/DC. I'm going to showcase a couple of albums by them here, which would be, of course, the very obvious Back in Black, right there. This is probably obligatory for all rockers to have in their collection, even casual rockers, Back in Black. The other one I'm going to showcase is, and I'm going to put the album here because it's in my car, it's their latest, which is Power Up. And at first I thought it was a bit late, too laid back, but it's really grown on me. I really enjoy listening to it. It's got the classic AC/DC sound, classic AC/DC riffs and lyrics. Okay, a really, really cool album. Okay, moving on to the number 6 one is an artist that you may argue with me if they are, or rather he is, hard rock or not. To me, he is completely a hard rock artist. Okay, and sadly, he passed away very recently. I'm talking about Meatloaf. Here we go. Of course, his most famous albums, Bat Out of Hell 1, 2, and 3. All right, Bat Out of Hell, just like the AC/DC Black and Black, Bat Out of Hell is one that is obligatory in any rocker's collection. This one is a Dead Ringer, here with this absolutely gorgeous cover by comic book artist Bernie Wrightson. Okay, known for Swamp Thing and his horror comics right there for DC Comics in the 70s and 80s. But this is chock full of hits, including, of course, the title track, Dead Ringer, I'm Gonna Lower for Both of Us, Read 'em and Weep. A lot of great stuff. The second one I'm going to showcase here from Meatloaf is one of his, I believe it was from the early 80s. It is Bad Attitude. I don't own that album, but I have been listening to it a lot, in recent days. I'm going to put the cover again over here, and which is a really, really cool cover. And that album completely rocks. I love it, love it, love it. There's a really great balance between the kind of with Meatloaf's very, shall we say, theatrical vocals, all right, and the hard rockin'. Okay, so Bad Attitude, recommended if you haven't heard it. Let's go now to number 5. This would be another kind of obvious choice. It would be Scorpions. And I'm going to showcase one of their most famous ones here. It is Love at First Sting. This is the one that I've had ever since the 80s. Okay, love that cover. Perhaps this one came out after Blackout, which I also have in it. It's a complete classic. But I always have a soft spot for this one because this was my introduction to Scorpions. Okay. Of course, here we have Bad Boys Running Wild, Rock You Like a Hurricane, Coming Home, Big City Nights, Still Loving You. Great stuff. The other one from Scorpions I'm going to showcase is one that kind of does not get enough love, but is really good in my opinion. It's Savage Amusement. This one. Let me take off so we can see it better. Cool cover. Look at this. I also have this one. I originally have this one on cassette, which I still have. Okay, but I was lucky enough to get the vinyl. There you go. A lot of underrated tracks here. Don't Stop at the Top, Rhythm of Love, which was their video song. They made a video for that song. Okay, Passion rules the game. Mediocre overkill. Walking on the edge. Okay, really cool stuff. Savage amusement. Recommend this one if you, or go back to it if you haven't visited it in a while. Now for number 4, we're talking about Rainbow. Of course, my favorite album is everybody's favorite album, Rainbow Rising, a total classic. Precursor to power metal, in my opinion. Ronnie James Dio on vocals, Richie Blackmore on guitar. What more can you ask for? Great songs from beginning to end. Really love pretty much the whole catalog of that band. The other one I'm going to showcase from Rainbow is my introduction to the band, curiously enough, which was Bent Out of Shape. A lot of people think that this one is way too commercial, way too soft sounding, but I really dig it. There's a lot of great stuff here. Street of Dreams, a great song, Say what you will about the Joe Lynn Turner's more laid back or commercial vocals, but he is a great singer. A very enigmatic cover also. You have to remember that this, look at that this type of distortion was made way before Photoshop was invented. So this was all done while processing the film. So I think this is really cool. Of course, like Stranded, Can't Let You Go, Desperate Heart, Street of Dreams. Great songs. I also have that one on a remastered CD. We go now to number 3 and 2. And both of these bands are interchangeable. They could both be my number 2, okay, on any given day. And number 3 on this day, I'm going to put Uriah Heep. Okay, absolutely great band from the 70s that's still going strong today. I'm going to showcase 2 albums by them. One is a classic Eric album, which is, here, Demons and Wizards. Can hardly see the title right there. But of course, we all know this album. The Wizard, Traveler in Time, Easy Living, Circle of Hands, Rainbow Demon. Great stuff. The second one is one of their latter day albums. I believe this one is post 2000s. It is Sonic Origami. A strange title, but this album, and I usually don't like long albums because this one is over 70 minutes long, and 13 tracks, but all 13 tracks are awesome. I was recently listening to this one, and I listened to it, and in spite of even being over 70 minutes, I listened to it again because it's that good. All the tracks, Between Two Worlds, I Hear Voices, Perfect Little Heart, catchy as hell, rockin' throughout. The ballads there's not that many ballads, but the ones that there are really, really good. Sonic Origami, highly recommended. In the number 2 spot, I'm going to put Blue Oyster Cult. Well, like I said, Blue Oyster Cult and Uriah Heep kind of like tied for that number 2 spot. I'm going to showcase here Secret Treaties. I believe that's their 3rd album. Cool illustration right there for the front and back cover. We all know these songs. Career Evil, Dominance and Submission, totally rocking. Harvester of Eyes, Flaming Telepaths, and Astronomy. Great stuff here. Blue Oyster Cult. Another band that I really, really like almost all of their catalog. And I like delving into it as much as I can. I forgot to put a second album here for Blue Oyster Cult, and I'm going to pick Imaginos, which is a very strange album with an even stranger concept that I don't quite get, but the music here is really, really good. Okay, I believe in the lyrics there are some Lovecraftian influences, but that's really beside the point. Okay, there's a lot of great tunes here. It has all of that, the Blue Oyster Cult imaginativeness, and a great rockin'. There's also, I believe, a reworking of the song Astronomy. I don't know how different it is from the original one over on a Secret Treaties, and as well as their own self-titled track called simply Blue Oyster Cult. So this is a really cool album that I've been listening to a lot lately. So, for the number one spot, I think it's no surprise because I am wearing the T-shirt. It would be, of course, Kiss, and a band that I grew up with, a band that I followed their musical journeys. From the not exactly from the very beginning because I jumped on Alive 2, and they had already had 6 studio albums by then. Okay, so my favorite album from them is Rock and Roll Over, which I have right here, possibly one of the coolest covers ever. Right there. Okay, seen this band live 3 times. And the other one that I'm going to showcase is their last studio album, which is Monster. I have this one in this booklet type, which I believe was either a Walmart or Target exclusive. I cannot remember where I bought it. Okay, and a lot of people dismiss, their latter day albums, their post reunion albums, the Psycho Circus, Sonic Boom, and Monster. But there's a lot of good stuff there, especially in this one. Okay, check it out if you haven't done so. Well, there you go. Those are my 10 favorite hard rock bands. Like I said, hard rock, not metal. I'm going to do another list for that. And I'm, agonizing over who to put on that list because I've been doing it and then changing it around constantly. But as for hard rock, I'm pretty confident that these are my 10 favorite bands, at least up till now. Thank you very much for watching, and keep rocking.